tonight I thought I'd share with you an old family dessert secret. And so I went out and I looked for some like muffin cups. I got these ones because there's one that's kind of, they're a little more sturdy than the paper cups. And this one's kind
Mhm.
of, it's got a snowflake and stuff, so it's more for an adult. But this one had a penguin, so it's cute for kids. So all we do is we take a jelly roll that you can buy at Walmart or anywhere,
Mhm.
slice it up and put a nice slice in the bottom. Then take a bag of frozen berries. We love raspberries, but you can use mixed berries, strawberries, whatever your favorite is. Let them thaw out and then put a spoonful over the cake.
Interesting.
You could even make your own cake if you want to, but this is a tip to help you do something really quick that everybody loves. And it's not hard for people like me that aren't real good bakers.
Mhm.
So then you get a handy dandy can of Devon custard. Now, this one's President's Choice, but there's all kinds of makes. You get a can of Devon custard, you open it up, and you put a spoonful of custard over the fruit. Then all you have to do is get your whipped cream, squirt it on top. Looks real good. If you want to be really fancy, take a piece of chocolate, just shave it on top. Or for the kids, you might want to take a candy cane and crush it and sprinkle it, or just stick a candy cane in it. And you have a great dessert that everybody loves. And it's really simple, and you don't have to worry about cooking it too much, not cooking it enough, or any of that. It's easy. Everybody loves it. It looks good, and it doesn't take you much time. So that
Mhm.
is an old English version of trifle that
Oh,
my
yeah.
family has used for many years. So tonight, we're going to continue and we're going to talk about friendship from Proverbs 31. And the Proverbs 31 is like the bionic woman, she's a superwoman. But when you
Mm.
start to break it down, you can really relate to who she is and
Right.
what she does.
Mhm.
And there's 5 things I noticed. And we're going to talk about some of them. And Jean's going to help us in a minute. But I'm just going to give you those 5 things I saw. I
Mhm.
saw that she had spiritual strength. I saw that she had achieved in her vocational life. She was a very resourceful woman. She had
Mhm.
social graces for all
Mm.
different kinds of events. And
Mhm.
most importantly, she had inner beauty. And
Mm.
so we want to break this down a little bit. So, Angie, why don't you help us understand about spiritual strength? That
Yeah.
I'm not getting my strength from my
Mhm.
friend, but I
Mm.
have spiritual strength. How do I develop that? What is it? What help us out?
Mm. Well, the Bible speaks a lot about strength, about spiritual strength. And what I like about actually the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31 is that her strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. And the Bible also says that in verse 27 that when she opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. One of the things as women that we need to understand is the spiritual strength that is within us. And our strength comes from the Lord. On a biblical perspective, it comes from the Lord. I like what David says in Psalm 27. He said, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And he didn't just say the Lord gives me strength. He said the Lord is the strength of my life. So the question that we have to really ask ourselves, where does our strength come from? Where does our inner strength? The fact that God is the creator of the universe, that He's God, He's the God of all, He's the most powerful God. And to imagine that in His greatness, He still lives in us. It tells us that in our inner being, we have a lot of inner strength. As believers, what we have to do, we have to understand about the inward strength that we have. As women, we are very strong. We have inner strength I think that we get a little special, a little extra from God to be able to manage and to cope with all the situations that we face in life. God is not surprised by the things that happen to us, but our faith and our confidence and our trust in God is what really determines the level of strength that we receive and be able to walk in our situations in life. And even my mind goes to Joshua, where, in Joshua, after Moses died, and the Lord said to Joshua, be strong and of good courage. It is the same thing that I believe that God is saying to us. And even for us as women, it is the same thing. We have to be strong and be of good courage. Not that we're going to try to get strength, but it's finding and recognizing where our strength lies. There are so many situations in life that we face as women, and we would say, it's hard, it's very difficult. But one of the scriptures that I've always leaned on is Isaiah 40, verse 31, where it says, they that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. And so what I believe that in waiting on God, he renews our strength to deal with the circumstances, to deal with the issues, because there are times that we don't always understand what is it we're going through, or even why we're going through what we're going through. We think about it and we said, what? But I've done it right. I try to do to walk the straight and narrow. I try to do what is right, but yet still so many things are happening. Lord, what's going on? He said, wait on me. I will renew you. He renews us in the inner man. The Bible says also in Psalms 18:30, he said, as for God, his ways is perfect. The word of the Lord is proven. He's a shield or strength to all who trust in him. So what am I saying? That as women, we have to learn to trust God. We have to recognize that our strength lies in God. Our strength comes from God. And even in the waiting, he renews our strength. He gives us the courage, the strength to go on in situations and to continue, that we can grow, because it's so important. When we are strengthened on the inside, it shows a lot on the outside. It shows how we manage situations. It shows how we deal with the situation. Why? Because inner strength is far greater than trying to gain strength from the outside. And so as believers, as women, we have to learn to look to God, who is on the inside, to strengthen our inner man, that we can deal with circumstances as they come along in life.
Very good. We want to be able to continue and grow in that strength. Let God rise up in us in that strength. And, the other thing that the second thing I saw was her vocational achievements. And, the reason we started with the spiritual strength is we can learn things naturally.
Yes.
But to do them with everything within us and to be able to accomplish well, our spiritual strength will help us. Yes. Now, I know you work in the aviation industry.
Yes.
And I remember when my husband did, and all the call letters, and there's so much information that you have to know and understand.
Yes.
So how do you, working and achieving well in a vocation in the aviation industry, how does your spiritual strength help you in that?
The first thing that I had to understand is that I cannot do all this on my own. My job is very, very, very distinct, and it's not a job that I can make. I don't have much room for errors. I have people who are depending on me. I have pilots who are depending on me. And so with that, you have to be very precise in things that you're doing. But one of the things you learn again is to depend on God. Because if you depend on yourself, you're going to cause errors, and that is so important. So I find that as I grew in my Christian walk, I have learned, and one of the things that I have done in my life is there are certain scriptures that I have taken and I have made them a part of me in my daily affirmation. That, in the book of Ephesians, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man. I pray that thing, about those prayers. I prayed prayers that, that God, you will perfect that which concerns me. Why? Because this concerns me, concerns my future, concerns my vocation, what I do. And so, Lord, I need your wisdom. I need your guidance. I need your strength. I need understanding. Where I need understanding, I ask for understanding. And I believe that as I mature in my spiritual walk, I find that also in my natural job that, understanding comes in a greater way. And I really believe that it has to do with the affirmations and just speaking to God and ask him to strengthen me and to give me the understanding that I would not otherwise have, because it's so important for the job that I do. And I think it is the same. It should be the same for all of us, because the Spirit of God lives in us. And he's not only interested in helping us in the spiritual things per se, he wants to help us in every area of our lives. And when we do understand that, then we're in a place where we are open for God to manifest himself in our lives in every area, including our job. Sometimes we think that, we don't need God there. We need him there more than anywhere, so we can show him off to people. Yeah. Because there are times things happen and I say, and I'll say to my colleague, I said, it's only God. It is only God, because, oh my goodness, I would have messed this up. Because he brings things to your remembrance and he reminds you, he shows you, you see things that you wouldn't normally see. I just see God all over my job.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard my husband say that many times when he'd come home, and when he was an air traffic controller, he'd go into work and he would take his hands and he'd lay them on the sector he was going to be working on. And he would just start to pray in the Holy Ghost and just trust God. Mm-hmm. And the busier it got, the sharper he became. Mm-hmm. And we know it's that inner strength that grows up in us. But what happens is others around see, and they want to do well at their job. They want to be, so then they want to know how you've done it. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we have opportunities. And God is so amazing because he just opens so many doors. Yes. And we see here that the third thing I mentioned was she was a resourceful person. Yes. Don't you love just being around people that are resourceful when you don't know what to do and somebody can come up with an idea and think, yeah, I should have thought of that. Mm-hmm. But as we draw on the Holy Spirit, even those of us that are not naturally creative, God gives creativity. He makes us resourceful. Mm-hmm. And this woman, it says she sets about, in verse 17, her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She has the resources she needs to do the task, but she does it with all her might. She just doesn't, got to do this today. But she has energy behind what she does. And God gives her resources. It says she considers a field before she goes by. She doesn't just rush out because everybody's yelling, sail, sail. Right. She considers what she's going to do. And then she puts her money towards it. And God blesses it. I believe that's a part of our inner strength, where when we have inner strength in God, he helps us to be wise. He helps us not just to follow the crowd and run to the lines and get caught up with the signs of sale, but that we are wise with what God gives us and that we use our resources wisely and not just for ourselves. It says here that she took care of her family, but she also made sure she had extra to give to those that were around her maids and others around her. So we want to continue to be resourceful and help with whatever we can. And right now in our society, there is so many opportunities to be resourceful because there are so many needs around us.
Yes.
But we want to continue. And then it says that she had social graces. To me, that meant she could go in and out of every area, whether it was with her maids, whether it was preparing for her children, whether it was respect in the community. She could carry herself with that inner strength of God that made a way. That inner strength helped her to be respectful to her husband because she was respectful to him. The elders of the community gave her respect, and she carried herself with that grace. And lastly, Angie, maybe you can help us. This kind of goes with spiritual strength, is that she carried inner beauty. It wasn't about, do I look like the magazines? Do I have the latest clothes or the latest colors? But there was an inner beauty that shone through her. How do we let that inner beauty shine out?
You see, they're so, I love the way the Bible talks about inner beauty. It talks about charm being deceitful, beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she should be praised. And inner beauty, it's okay to look good. It's okay to put yourself together and to be presentable, but nothing beats your inner beauty. What is inside? I find that in life, especially as women, when we're under pressure, when there are things that, may put us under stress, under stressful situations, what is inside of us is usually what comes out. And that tells us how important it is, our inner beauty. Because when we're in situations that would cause us for anger and for us to have outbursts of wrath and all that, when you have that, when that hidden person of the heart that Peter speaks about, he said, let it be the hidden person of the heart, the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and a quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. There are so many times when situations and things happen that comes at you, but that hidden beauty, that inner beauty that you have within you, that Christ has, if you want to say, crowned you on the inside, it allows you to deal with situations where people have upset you, people have angered you, but that hidden person of the heart is where the beauty lies. That's what God sees. And that is so important that we understand that inner beauty is what, when we open our mouth to speak, inner beauty speaks. You know that the person is beautiful on the inside based on what they say. When someone is in a very high pressure situation, how they handle it will depict their inner beauty. And you see it so much on the inside of a person in what they do, what they say, how they react. The Bible talks about our outward man perishing, our inward man being renewed day by day. And you see that a person, even for a new believer, at first they may behave certain way, but as their inward man is being renewed day by day, you find they tend to have a gentle and a quiet spirit. You tend to find that they don't have that outburst of wrath. They're able to deal with situations. They're able to deal with friends. They deal with family. They deal with things differently, where someone said, man, you are different. You're acting different. You sound different. You're not reacting the way you used to do. Why? Because our inner beauty, which is crowned with Christ's glory that shines through us when times are tough and times are hard, is what is most important. It's not what people see, because you may have someone who's well dressed up, looking nice, looking great, and the pressures of life comes and they just blow. They're like a volcano, and anger and wrath and everything is coming out. So it tells you there's a difference when the inner beauty, when you're beautiful on the inside, you may be hurt and you may be crying, but at the end of the day, you're still gentle in what comes out of your mouth. And that is what makes the difference. You see the inner beauty in what people say and how they relate to situations.
That's so good. And that's what we all want to strive towards.
Yes.
That Jesus would shine through us. And even at this Christmas season, that as we celebrate that he came, that we look to who he is, Not just that he came as a baby, but who he is and what he has brought to our lives. That together, as we have these characteristics, as we allow that inner strength, that beauty to shine through us, that he will be glorified and that we can be friends together and just enjoy his presence and live life to the fullest. So thanks for being with us tonight. Be sure to tune in next week. We're going to have a whole group of people with us, and we're going to have some Christmas fun. So be sure to tune in. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.